Hi everyone. I'm meeting today an amazing soul, Ola. Good evening, Ola.
Good evening, good evening. Dobry wieczór.
Dobry wieczór. Um, Ola, you were one of the attendees of the 12 Croissant course. Uh, how was it? Tell me, please, how was it for you and why did you join this course? What made you to join it? Do-
Yeah, I think the best way to explain it was not what I expected. I don't know what I've expected or whether I had expected. I didn't have big expectations. Um, and I don't want to oversell it in a sense of it was hard work and we went deep, but it was incredibly transformational. Um, we've worked really hard for 14 weeks, going systematically through different areas of our life from the perspective of pride, for example, from the perspective of greed, and some of the other deathly sins and the opposites of them. And we were systematically clearing anything that was holding us still, anything that was not serving us anymore, but was holding us. We could still ruminate about those things that might have happened ages and ages ago. And through this systematic 14-week process, we got to that point where after a while, I remember sitting there on the 14th week and just feeling just being there okay and not having that constantly the monologue at the back. Yeah. And that's nothing else but liberating. It's nothing else but liberating. So it is, it is an investment of time and effort, and that's how I would put it. But it's one of the best investments I've done in the last 15 years.
Lovely to hear that. You said that it was hard work, but you worked very well. You had really amazing stuff coming through and releasing. So, oh, I'm so glad. It was really pleasure to work with you. It was really pleasure. But Ola, why did you join this course?
It was, I think the best way I can explain it, it was answering a calling. I remember when you have first advertised the course, and for those of you who don't know you from that perspective, Beata and Jarek are doing um, a lot of sound baths, both in Guildford and down on the south coast. So I've attended one of your gong baths, and you've advertised the course there, and I had this immediate inner voice saying, "Oh, you go and speak to Beata about this. Yeah, considering your background, you should go and have a conversation with Beata." And if I sort of reflect on it, joining the course was a series of yeses. Of and listening to that sort of inner voice of, oh, go speak to Beata, or have a conversation about that, and just saying yes to that, what was coming up, despite of the fact that, I wasn't, again, as I was saying, I wasn't even sure what to expect of something like this. So that's fundamentally why I've joined on a surface level, but on a deeper level. The reason why I've joined is I felt that in the last 12, 13 years, I was moving and developing spiritually, because becoming a mom does move you big time. And I had amazing teachers showing up as I was progressing through my career, and I had really amazing teachers, sure enough, but I sort of felt that, especially since the pandemic, I was plateauing. I was doing my practices, but they weren't going too far, and that's, typically this is when new teachers show up. And again, I just said yes to it, and thank God I did.
Yeah, thank God, yes. That is when I was doing for myself first time this course. I know what about you are talking. But have you, okay, you heard about the course on the go bath. I'm so sorry, my cat is coughing because he likes to lie down on the chair. It's too much. And he's big one in the chair and the small one. He still thinks that he is a kitten. Anyway, my question was, you heard the calling, you know me, so you know that you can trust me and you know how I work because we know ourselves. I haven't seen you first time on the compact because we work together on the goddess and we generally met before, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the voice, there must be strong trust within yourself just to go for that deep course where 14 weeks, 5 hours each Saturdays we were learning. So you sacrifice your time for this course, actually your family time with your husband, with your daughter. And I just like suddenly just go and you were listening. But deeper down, if you were reading about this course, if you were talking about this course, because we met on a cup of coffee and we had a chat about this course, isn't it? And at least twice, I think. What deep down, what the roots were that you wanted removed there from your life, that you decide to actually do, and you are working, you are very busy in your business, private business, isn't it, in your coaching?
Yeah. It's a really, really good question, but unfortunately, I cannot sort of answer it with that knowing of what exactly I was working on, because, and this is, I think, one of the beauties of this course, and subsequently the reason why I was plateauing, because for me, it's more of a feeling of, yes, I'm plateauing. Yeah, if nothing changes, nothing changes. I wanted to change that. I wanted to change um, the struggles. I wanted to change all of those things that I have accepted as given, like, you have to struggle to be successful, or it's difficult to do X, Y, and Z. And these are sort of like beliefs and assumptions that aren't necessarily true. But it's difficult to accept a different belief if your beliefs aren't somehow challenged. And I think this is what this course is about, is it's not necessarily challenging your beliefs, but making you realize that you've created a construct that can beautifully fall apart by just working on clearing some patterns. And then a new way beautifully starts to emerge. So it's not all of a sudden everything is honky-dory, but it is a much more gradual, but much more organic and much more sustainable new emergence and creation. Hope this makes sense.
Yes, definitely it's changing our beliefs and programming of the society, or programming which we receive from our parents. Yes.
Yeah.
So definitely it's liberating us from this, and we see the real truth, which is. And I know, but if you could share with us the changes, the progress, the blossoming in your business, in your work?
It's the change. I cannot. I still got like this like amazing feeling when I'm sort of like sitting with it. I think the first and fundamental change before we go on to the business is fundamentally me. And the fundamental change in me is I no longer am feeling the need to hold things really tight. And I wouldn't necessarily describe myself as a control freak or needing to control things or control outcomes. But being, being a mom, being a wife, being a businesswoman, it's easy to get into the hustle of the things. So the fundamental change in me is I feel much, much more aligned to me. I'm much, much more aligned to that real me. And it might sound really, really profound, but I don't feel like I'm in that place where I need to make compromises against what feels aligned. And that in itself is a fundamental change. I am so much more comfortable in sitting in just trust and not reverting to doing. And I'm much, much more comfortable in taking time for resting. And while I have and had quite a good self-care practice, there is always more that you can do for yourself, even though in before the course it might have felt selfish. After the course it was inevitable. Is the fundamental change that's in me as a person. It's also beautiful. So like I'm sort of like going out from me as a person and like looking at my immediate circle. It My immediate circle, my family, and how we are operating as a family became much, much more harmonious. And not that it was disharmonious before, but there were more moments of struggle when as a mom, you go and say, why do I always have to do this? Or why is it always me? That sort of little struggles of everyday life either fell apart or just sorted themselves out on their own. And then on the much wider scale, wow, this is where this sort of like the I wouldn't say real magic because the previous two are also quite magical, but um,
It's
but
the magic actually of this work.
yes, but like when it comes to the business life, so we finished the course middle of May, and I already knew by that time that I was working on a contract that my contract will be finishing end of June. And for the first time in my life, even though sort of like my cash flow continuity wasn't visible yet at the moment when I made the decision that I'm not going to pursue and go and hustle and secure another contract immediately, I decided to trust, because what was coming up on during the course over and over and over again was, you need to write a book, you need to write a book, you need to write a book about this, you need to write a book. And it was coming up so strongly that you do not argue when something is coming up that strongly. So I knew that in order for me to be able to sort of fulfill this really strong calling, I need to create space for it. So it's a very brave move on my side. I've decided not to pursue and not to hustle, find a contract, and decided to write a book. And I did write a book in July.
Amazing.
But what happened simultaneously were very beautiful little serendipitous little assignments. So I was writing the book, and I've literally just written the section. So my book is around the art of transformation, which is very business-like. So, probably not for this audience, but fundamentally it focuses on how do organizations need to shift, need to change, and how to enable this. And what happened, I've literally just finished writing a chapter which was focusing on how do you tell the story of transformation, how to tell it differently. I finished it on an evening, and the next morning at 6:50 a.m., I'm receiving an email from someone that I have worked 2 or 3 years beforehand. We were talking about the opportunity, and they are just asking me questions like, hey, what are the chances you are available tomorrow? I know the chances are slim, but we could really value you doing a workshop on this. And I've literally just finished a chapter on that. So it was so fresh and so front of mind that, when I've delivered, because obviously I could make myself available considering I was only writing the book. I've showed up, and we had a really, really great workshop with fantastic feedback from them on the exact topic that I was writing about. And that and a couple of other engagements actually meant that with a fairly small amount of that hard work, when you have to dedicate yourself, I could fully dedicate myself in July to writing the book, and now it's ready. So the next step is finding a way to publish it. But
let us know definitely when you publish, please. You said probably not for this publicity, but you see, business people are becoming more and more spiritual. Look at yourself. Yes, you work with very big businesses, you do coaching, and you are very spiritual.
yeah.
And with this course, obviously, we're working on spiritual level, but everything what we work on spiritual level is touching our physical level, our human level, isn't it? Because that is connected. It's not only this, and it's not only this, it's connection. When we balance, our life gets
Yeah.
to the balance as well, our emotions, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But I'm interested in as well, if you could share if the course, your work on this course, if had an impact on your clients, on the way how you work with clients, how you getting messages to coach them as well, guidance, if something has changed or is exactly the same. I remember you mentioned something, but I don't want to say that.
And it's not the best way I can describe it is, and there's so much scientific research on this. So let me talk a little bit about scientific research before I sort of explain how I'm changing. But fundamentally, as a result of this course, what's happening is our own coherence is improving. Yeah. So that connection between that harmonious connection between our heart and our brain and how the two are operating is continuously improving, because we are no longer frantic. We are no longer in the rat race. And sort of like what I was explaining about myself, and that feeling of groundedness and that feeling of it's okay, and almost like being in this much more creative space since the course is fundamentally a result of this increased coherence. And what the research is showing is that when you are in this much more coherent state, when your heart rate variability is high and it creates coherence in the brain, your intuition is beyond measure. So the research is fundamentally showing that you knew events before they are just about to happen. And the way it sort of like shows up in my business practice and in my coaching practice is almost like that connection between me and my coaches are much stronger, and I'm much more braver to sort of say, what's coming up in the moment of, hey, listen, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm sensing, this is what I feel is happening for you. Let me know if this resonates. And that intuitive way of, hey, I'm sensing there's something else. I'm sensing there's we could go further. I'm sensing you can achieve more, and not settling for good old is what's coming up stronger. So, for some, for some coaches, it's around me being able to go deeper with them by using the intuition. With other coaches, it's about we can go further. Yeah, we can achieve more because we don't have to skim on the surface, but are able to go quickly deeper. So that's fundamentally how I can explain it.
That is amazing, to hear the big change after so many years of working, because you are not new to the business, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you work with very important companies, I can say, yes. Ola, have you recognized any changes between you and your daughter after this course, during this course? Her behave maybe changed towards you?
Yeah, and I think this is what I was referring to with regards to being, the family life being more harmonious. So, she's a very easy kid anyhow. She is a
She's
very,
lovely. She's
yeah,
really lovely.
she's a very easy kid. Um, the thing that was interesting during the course is how she sensed my change and how that sort of created a little bit of a dynamic play between the two of us. But immediately, as sort of like the changes settled around June time, and probably a little bit earlier than that, but definitely by June. Yeah, the only way I can describe it is harmonious. There's no, it's a flow. It's a teamwork. It's a I am now 8 years old and I can leave it for me, mummy. I can do that for you, mummy. Um, so um, so yeah, it's irrespective of the fact that she's still an 8 year old, she's still a kid, and I want to make sure that she stays one. It's sort of beautiful how she's sort of stepping into her age appropriate responsibilities without even having to ask. And especially her confidence. So I've just seen her today in she went to circus camp. They were learning circus skills. And in the past, she would not have been happy to give a circus camp a go without knowing someone else there, or without one of us, or my husband or me, having to sit with her at the beginning of it. And while she was nervous today, she went in, she gave it a go. And what I was most surprised by is, these skills are difficult. Yeah, so she had to spin a plate, and it's called a koi something. It's like a ribbon thing that they do. And she decided to step out on the stage at the end of this camp. So it's just a day engagement, doing juggling, spinning a plate, and doing this koi exercise, which is another form of a ribbon, all at the same time, all requiring something completely new. So her willingness and her courage to try something new has also significantly improved. And again, it's not that it wasn't age appropriate, her shyness. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mhm.
But it's lovely to see her stepping into her potential more, a couple of months after the end of the course.
Oh, this is such lovely to hear that she got such confident, to doing stuff.
I mean, she juggling, spinning a plate, and koi dropping at the same time.
Come and see that.
Of course, I'm like this, and the fact she'd all learned it in a day. Yeah, so if you're thinking about it, us others would have been like, no way. And she did it, and she did it with confidence, and then she decided to put herself forward to show it to other parents as well, in front of other parents as well. And that was the key thing for me. It's like, okay, we've
This is rewarding for mom. It was worth it, yes.
yes,
To
yeah,
work.
yeah.
Especially when we work during the course, we are working on ourselves, but we are working 7 generations back, and we're freeing 7 generations forward as well, yeah. So,
Yeah,
hey, how you've done a good job.
absolutely.
Ola, you don't have to answer, but I know your husband, and I know that you have amazing relationship with him. Many people, women, would like to have so good relationship. Have you recognized any changes in dynamic between you and him, or changes within him since you start
Uh,
working with 12 croissants?
I think, in all fairness to him and us, we had a pretty amazing relationship even at the beginning. But if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have been able to do this course because, at the end of the day, he had to hold the fort down for 14 weeks. During the 14 weeks, it was difficult because my changes were continuously triggers. The family feels that you resonate differently. And it's probably for the first four occasions, it was difficult. We couldn't sort of find the rhythm and the space, and there were some deep and difficult conversations about, listen, something's got to change. I'm changing, and this is the direction. But how do we need to change as a family? Because at the end of the day, one operates in a system. Yeah, I'm just the fact that I want to change. The system needs to work with me, so there's a lot of contracting with the family as a result of it.
Yeah.
The key thing that I'm observing, and he's been on an incredible journey since we've been together, absolutely incredible journey of self-awareness, self-efficacy, personal growth, you name it. But if I were to quantify the biggest change as a result of me changing, as a result of this course, is none of us worry. So, to give you a very specific example, at the moment, I'm not actively working, I'm not actively building the business. I've written a book. And in the past, when we didn't see 3 months ahead or even a month ahead, which at the moment we are not seeing, and it's okay, my husband would go into a saving overdrive, and we need to sort of like, he would be worrying, we need to change this, we can't spend on this, we can't spend on that. And while we do have a couple of conversations that is this spend absolutely necessary, it's coming from a completely different place. It's not a place of scarcity and worry, but it's a much more conscious adult, oh, is this absolutely needed and required, and so on and so forth. So first, the worry element is gone. It is gone. The other element is I no longer need to give feedback for him to get to the realizations. So while in the past the dynamic would have been like there would be something happening, and there would be something going on, and he would be in a rat race, and after about a while I would be sort of like giving him a, listen, we need to talk. This is what I'm observing, and you might not be aware that you are doing it, but can I just hold the mirror up for you? Are you aware? And he would be, ooh, you're right. Yeah. And it's not about who's right or wrong, but it is that sort of
Yeah.
dynamic of him not being fully aware of the automatic things that he's doing, while now he is getting to his realizations before I even have to sort of like say something. He would be like, listen, I've been reflecting, and it's a big birthday for him coming up in a couple of days. Um, Yesterday he made a realization that he's in that space where he's not choosing joy, so he decided to choose joy. And I'm like, wonderful. Yeah, that's what, there's no one else, there's no one stopping you. It's the only you who can choose joy. I can be talking about joy, but it's you who need to choose it. And I think that's the key difference of I the word became lighter as a result of the course, and not I'm no longer required to make things happen. With the trust and with the coherence, things are happening for me than to me. And that's fundamentally the key difference in all aspects of my life.
Thank you. It's very interesting what you're saying because before I could teach this course, I had to go through this course by myself, yes. And previously, my husband, everything will be fine, don't worry, that. And I was, oh my goodness, yes. And after the course, once I finished, it just completely dynamic change. I was more relaxed than him. Even he was relaxed, yes, and I had more trust. So it's showing how the energy is changing. Our energy, how it's changing. When our energy is changing, how energy around is changing as well, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Maybe last two questions, if you can, please. What do you think? What were the most valuable tools or teachings you received from this course?
Oh, this will be incomplete. So I'm just gonna go with what's coming up first, because there's so much. Yeah, so the course is really, really full, and I'm sort of recycling what I've learned in one shape or another. It's this time, and then it's that time. Um, the thing that I really, really appreciated, not because it was the most transformational, but the one that I really appreciated because it's very, very practical, in usage, and I was probably looking for something like this, was the grace points and use of the grace points. And the reason why I really loved and appreciated that practice, because it's so easy to use it. It doesn't require a big hoo-ha, and literally you can be sitting in a meeting and going through your grace points if you are triggered, or something is happening, and you just want to bring a little bit of ease and comfort. Um, so so I absolutely appreciated that as a tool. And I also love I don't know the English name of the one when you've got like, this is what's happening now, this is what I'd like it to be, and then you put it together, and then you sort of like,
Yeah, quantum healing.
there you go. And the reason why I'm saying this is incomplete, these are the two that are coming up because they are very, very practical. They're very, very quick that one can apply it. But fundamentally, what my biggest learning of the course is, and from the course, is spiritual growth is constant, and I'm enjoying my spiritual practice again. Yeah, so one I probably didn't love it for a couple of years. Um, I'm I'm really grateful for the possibility to practice my spiritual practice. So that's one key learning. The other key learning that I would take away, that's not, again, it's not a tool, but a learning, is the importance of self-forgiveness. And the importance of, irrespective of whether we've done something that we are ashamed of or something has happened to us that we are still holding as a grudge, fundamentally the forgiveness needs to happen from us to us. And we need to feel that lightness, we need to feel the gratitude, we need to feel, the gratitude of what that taught us, to be then able to systematically clean it out on a cellular level or many, many other levels. Um, and that in itself is, I think, if I were to really, really condense the learnings of this course, is these two of self-forgiveness, and irrespective if you've done something bad or something bad was done to you, the forgiveness starts with you forgiving yourself, because at the end of the day, you are the person who's holding the float or the feeling that is associated with that thing. And I think that's something that I wish as a society would learn to do more of forgiving ourselves, because less of us would be reactive to some certain situation. So yeah.
That is true, but the self-forgiveness, which we've done, and different work, it was on much, much deeper levels than are available to other people, because from the channeling, we've got uh, more layers to cover. Yes, you remember? It's not only forgive yourself, and now it is lots of deep layers. And what about the method which you have received on 12 croissants for the healing any karmic stuff, or the from present stuff, from present moment stuff which comes up? Do you enjoy this? Do you use this? Is this helpful?
I
You know
haven't.
what about I'm talking.
Yeah. I think I know, but I don't. I'm sort of reflecting whether I haven't used much of it since the end of the course, but there wasn't any reason to do so. And it's fundamentally, and you will remember, I was just like empty, but in the best possible way. Yeah, so I could, my creativity went through the roof immediately after. Um, and that creativity was very much intuition and inspiration led. And again, just saying yes to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So because of that, I haven't used the full on process since the end of the course, but we are talking about it's hardly 3 months since we finished.
Yes.
Um, and I'm literally coming, I've literally been operating in this place of bliss in the last 3 months at the same time. What my consistent practice is the practice of gratitude, coherence, going into that every single day, every single day. So that's a practice that I already had, but it elevated significantly as a result of the course. And it allows me to stay coherent because it's much, much easier to access that state of non-thinking and true gratitude and true that amazing feeling in the heart that is the key and cellular memory of the result of the healing process, of the 12 croissant process. So it's not, I'm not quite answering your questions from the perspective of,
Okay.
how useful is the process, because it's incredibly useful and it's incredibly systematic, and it is, why we are talking about this course as a spiritual course, and it's because of who you are leading. If I were to have to explain to a business person why this works, this course is incredibly solid. It's methodology and systems of why it works. It is incredibly, incredibly solid from that perspective. And so is the 12 croissant process of, really, really going through the quantum physics of everything that is affecting our energetic fields and how we are affecting the energetic fields, and realigning to where things are resonating at a higher level.
Yeah, it does. You need to finish to feel that, isn't it? Experience that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ola, if you know before you sign up to the course, that things which you know now, would you sign to this course? I'm not saying sign up second time. Everybody can repeat the course and all the processes, because there are always layers deeper and deeper. But would you not again, like a first time, would you sign up to this course?
It's such an interesting question. Such an interesting question, because, there's a part of me that goes like, hell yeah, because I'm loving where I am at the moment. But there's a part of me that goes like, but remember the 14 weeks of always having to prioritize it and so on and so forth. The answer is still hell yeah. Yeah, but I don't want to sound overly positive and happy clappy. It's beautiful, is what I can say. And I've got goosebumps when I'm saying this. It's a beautiful, beautiful course. And everyone will be experiencing something different. And it's a beautiful course from the perspective of seeing, because it's not just the course where I am there, but there's other participants there, and you're all of a sudden realizing how amazingly closely interconnected we are, irrespective of the fact that we are coming from many, many walks of life. So from that perspective, there's beauty, but there's tears. Yeah, we are working through, however old you are, a couple of years of patterns, beliefs, masts that we've inherited, and we've inherited a couple of generations above that we are putting down, and there's fears and there's emotions, and those things need to come out. Would I prefer to keep that honor? Yeah. But were there moments where the choice to continue were difficult? Yes, there were moments where it was difficult. But this is one of those courses where you're continuously choosing yourself, and you're continuously choosing your spiritual growth. And that was more important than ever, because everything, absolutely everything in my life was pushing me towards something else, something different, a different way. And this just happened to show up at the right time.
Thank you, Ola, so much for your time. I know that you are busy tonight, and you just kindly serve your time. And thank you so much. The course was done with me and with my husband, Jarek. And it was pleasure to work with you, with others. And I remember as well, like we said, 14 weeks was a lot. Yes, 5 hours each session. But I remember as well when we finished, everybody was like, gone. We don't know when this 14 weeks gone. Yes, but that was a work because we were cleansing karma and past lives as well, not only stuff from our life. So how we can cleanse in 14 weeks everything, isn't it? But we've done a lot, and you can hear.
Yeah, absolutely did.
Thank you so much, Ola, and have a beautiful, beautiful evening and fantastic holiday, because you are going on holiday of, dream life.
I know. Yeah. So it's like she, I can hear people say like, she just said that she hasn't been working and she was writing a book, and then now she's going on a holiday of a lifetime. So she must have it. So she must have it easy. I promise you, it all fell into place. It literally everything fell into place. So thank you for whomever was looking after me in this journey.
Ola, if we are talking about the holiday cost, you're not working now and you trust the universe, yes? And I know that lots of people, they're reading about the course, yeah, I would go, but the price is like, oh, what price would be fair in your opinion for this course?
Really, it's not a question that I have reflected on, and I'm like sort of like, oh, really good question. I think the price that you are selling it for is incredibly generous, and I tell you why. Tony Robbins, who's an incredible master coach, quite spiritual without being obvious about it. He sells 5 days programs, 5 days programs for £10,000, and in those £10,000, there's thousands of people who are in a virtual space. Compared to this, you are not at Tony Robbins level yet. How would that?
Yes, I do agree.
But
Not that famous.
Yeah, but the people who are joining this course are getting almost one-to-one support, because yes, you are working in a group, but no one is left behind. If someone is stuck on something, you, Jarek, and the rest of us who are working through that particular challenge that we are working through, everyone is helping the other person to be able to cross the gates, to cross whatever is happening, to cleanse, to let go, however hard it is to let go. So it's an incredibly personalized group experience, if that term exists. So the £3,000 that you are selling it for is really generous from that perspective, because it's the 3,000 part is not just 14 times 5 hours, but there's care in between. There's checking in between. If someone is not feeling okay, they can reach out to you. So yeah, I think this is worth more than that if we were to quantify. And then if we were to quantify, the opportunities that it creates, it's easier, triple, quadruple, 10 times.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope it will help others to make decision and give bigger picture of this course and benefits. And if they are ready, they are welcome. And I hope, Ola, that someday you're gonna teach this course in Hungarian as well, because you are just amazing.
Thank you. You never know. You never know.
Thank you so much. And look, we are looking for the photos from your holiday, dream holidays. And we are looking forward to hear when your book will be ready. And please, I want the book with your signature and special dedication.
Absolutely. And if there's any publisher listening to this, you know where to find me.
Yes,
Just put it out
obviously.
there.
Okay. Lots of love to everyone. Thank you all so much and many blessings. Speak soon. Yes.
Take care. You look after
See you.
yourself.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.